It all starts when school ends and the announcement happens that our library doors are always open to you. While listening to it, the protagonist of the story says, "Thanks, I will consider it, but I have to work out after school." While walking, he suddenly stops and says transfer students really are rare in this school. He sees the beautiful girls playing tennis inside the tennis court and thinks they got nice legs. Suddenly one of the girls says, "You over there. You have been smiling pervertedly for a while now." After listening to her, he gets afraid and thinks, "Shit, they caught me. I'm dead. Tomorrow I am definitely be called the rotten transfer student." Suddenly the girl says, "Give us your phone." After listening to that, he gets shocked. That are they saying to me to give the phone? But the girls goes toward the boy standing on his back, which gives him the peace that he is safe now. The boy who has the phone says, "It's a misunderstanding. I was just checking my messages." Then the girl replies, "Normally people don't look at the messages from that angle. You taking pictures is the possibility." In the fear of girls, the boy says again that it's a misunderstanding. While watching all this happening with that boy, our protagonist thinks all he did was take out his phone when was nearby. Even though I don't quite get why it's time to move. While he is going away from that place, someone says from behind, "Are you Makabe Masamune?" After listening to that, he stops and thinks looks like they really get angry, and replies, "Hello, yes it's me." After that, the girl asks him, "You transferred in last week, right? Could it be that you are interested in the tennis club? We have a men's section as well." Then other girls also come and say, "It's Makabe Masamune, the one that got full marks in the transfer entrance test. I saw him get in 3 goals in sports class." Suddenly the girl again asks him, "Don't you want to come to do some sport?" All this makes him confused and shocked, and he thinks what's happening. Then he says, "You are being too kind. Seeing the way you worked hard made me admire you even more." After listening to that, girl says, "I am so happy that he saw us." While he is going, he says, "Good luck with your club." And the girl says thank you to him. While he is going, the girls are only talking about him. While he is walking, he thinks that some things are for handsome guys only. Looks like the appearances come first. They even forget what I did. Maybe my plan could succeed after all. All the more reason to ensure that no one else finds out about my past, a painful dark history, about the day I was brought to my knees. After that, he finally reaches his home. While entering inside, he says, "I'm home." Then a woman runs toward him and says, "Welcome back, Mako." After listening to that, he thinks that scared the shit out of me. She is his mom, Hayes Kinu. Hayes says, "You must be tired," and asks him, "Would you like to eat some sweets before dinner?" He replies, "No, I'm fine." Then she says it's Mako's favorite donuts. "I added lots of brown sugar." After that, Makabe gets frustrated and shouts at her that, "I said, I'm fine." While he is moving towards his exercise room, Hayes says from behind that, "Mako hates mama now." While entering the room, he says, "You should understand what happens if sugar and oil are given to a young child like me." After that, removes his clothes and flexes in front of the mirror and thinks, "Never thought I'd get such a high evaluation. I have to keep this great body in shape. Snacks cannot pose a threat to me." While he is flexing, someone says from behind, "How nasty, we have a narcissist here." Posing in front of the mirror the moment you come back. Just how conceited, and asks him, "Are you big brother?" After that, he replies, "This isn't conceit, this is self-discipline." Then the girl asks him, "Do you want some crisps?" He replies, "No." Then he looks at the board where it's written every morning and every evening 100 sit-ups, lift dumbbells 20 times set each, run for 1 hour, no eating after 9, and thinks, I decided to prevent myself from returning to who I used to be, weak and naive. That's right, I won't make the same mistake again. It's all the fault of the woman I hate with a passion. I would never like someone like you. Meanwhile, next day in the class, Makabe gets into sleep, and all the students are watching him. Suddenly he wakes up and thinks, "Oh shit, I got careless." The handsome guy image is completely ruined. Then sees the students are not even making fun of him and the girls are saying him cute. After seeing all that, he thinks handsome guys can be forgiven if they droll while they sleep. Meanwhile, a girl comes to him and says, "So you woke up, Makabe? Just call me Kojuru," and gives him something to eat. Then he says, "Wow, thank you very much," and thinks, "Damn it, I have no choice. I have to add 100 sit-ups before I sleep." After that, the Kojuru says, "You are amazing, Makabe, your grades are excellent, but you don't act arrogant, you are nice to everyone." Then he says, "You are exaggerating, Shuri, as the so-called universally loved Kojuru, you are the one who's the most popular amongst the ladies." After that, Kojuru says, "I'm not flattering you because in this school there's someone who's at the same level as you, Makabe." Then he says, "No way, seriously." After listening to him, she thinks, "But really that one's completely different from you, Makabe." Suddenly a girl comes to their class and asks everyone where is Tanebakio. Then she moves towards Makabe and pulls his tie and asks him, "Is Tanebakio here or not?" For a second they both look at each other. Suddenly a voice comes from behind, "It's me, I'm here." Tanabe stands up and raises his hand. While holding the letter in her hand, she says, "From now on you can be called the Prince of Stooges. It's because you wrote this right. It was love at first sight when I saw you're awe-inspiring or something." After that, she tears the letter and says the most important thing was that you liked my pair of stockings-covered legs, which is why I am giving you such a suitable name, Prince of Stooges. After that, she throws the torn letter at him and goes away. While she is going, Kojiro says to Makabe, see, she's like that. Adagaki Aki-san. After listening to all that he gets and thinking. And Kojiro says though she scored top marks on the entrance exam, her family is the chief family of the Adagaki group and she is amazingly beautiful. It's just her personality. She really hates guys among the boys who have confessed to her. She has been mercilessly given a replacement nickname. Her alias is the Brutal Princess. After listening to all that, Makabe runs toward the classroom's door and thinks I'd encounter her so quickly. Then he calls Adagaki from behind and says I do not need to be afraid anymore. It is I who provoke her. Then they both look at each other. Later he thinks to find her weaknesses. While watching her secretly from behind, he thinks I must first collect information. I have already heard the basics from Kojiro, but how's she surrounded by so many girls? After that, he again goes to Kojiro to ask something more about Adagaki, and asks her do you know something about her interests? While eating the cupcake, she replies, well, I can't think of anything right now. Then again he goes to watch Adagaki secretly and thinks she enjoys eating bento by herself. This woman is always surrounded by a harem, like a planet surrounded by moons. But incredibly, she lets only one person follow her around during lunch break. This is definitely something to be investigated. While he is noting all that, Kojiro sees him from behind and thinks that Masamune, it's better you should not do this. Then Makabe's mission 2 starts with not letting the target go. He searches Adagaki secretly everywhere in the library, in the lab, and on the ground. While finding her secretly, he thinks no matter how much I search, this school is just way too big. Aside from behind the school and on the rooftop, the toilet is the place that is commonly used. What should I do next? Suddenly he sees a girl and thinks that person is Koiwa Yoshino. Good, it's Iki's follower. I have some ideas about this unfortunate girl. Quite suspicious. I'd better follow her. Then the girl suddenly goes inside the room. After entering the door, she says to Adagaki, I bought them. Then Adagaki replies, you are way too slow, Yoshino. I am getting impatient. After that, Yoshino says, I'm sorry, it's because I couldn't find 2 pork sandwiches. Then Adagaki says, then you could have just bought something else. After that, she gives a box to her. While seeing all that, he thinks about what's in the massive box. Suddenly a spider comes in front of him while he is watching them secretly, which makes him fall because of the fear of bugs. While falling, he thinks even though my body's been trained, I still can't stand bugs. He falls inside the room, so he gets busted. After that, he says, I didn't mean anything bad, I just saw Koiwa coming towards here. Then Adagaki says to him, you are saying you never even thought I would be here? He replies, yes, that's right. After that, she thinks who would have thought that the school's most beautiful girl would be eating lunch by herself in the pea storage. Then he says, also, I never thought that the conceited Aki Adagaki would actually like to eat pork rice. After that, he smiles and thinks the contrast image is just too damn high. Then she says to him, you over there, you are disturbing me. Could you get out? He replies, don't mind me, there are girls in sports clubs that can eat such big portions of bento. And besides, my younger sister's got a quite good appetite as well, so there's no need to try and hide. Suddenly Koiwa asks her, would you like to eat the sandwiches after the rice? She replies, I will do it later. Suddenly a grumbling sound comes from her stomach, which makes everyone embarrassed, mainly Aki. After that, Makabe says, then alright, I have got something to do. I will leave first. While eating, she thinks you are lucky to escape alive. While going outside the room, he thinks as scary as she used to be, but at the same time, I actually did manage to draw a trump card, even though I never thought I'd draw such a weird card. Several days later, while playing volleyball with Makabe, Kojiro says to him, it's said that you and Adagaki have been getting along recently, you know. Then asks her, where did you hear that? She replies, all the girls are talking about it, about how this time even Adagaki can't stay calm. After listening to that, he thinks after that day, she has been doing all sorts of annoying things to me. How on earth did anyone manage to draw such a conclusion from that? On the other hand, a handsome guy's power is way too strong. While he is playing, he suddenly looks at the window where Aki is sitting. While looking at her, he thinks she may be constantly surrounded by a halo of pretty girls, but she can clear an entire pork rice that's quite unbelievable. She suddenly shows her notebook where it's written, go home. After looking at that, he thinks I am not a dog, and says to her, not cute at all. While saying all this, the ball hits his face. Kojiro asks him, are you alright? That sure hurt. Then Makabe asks her in anger, who threw that? And someone says from behind, looks like you do care about her a lot. After listening to that, he moves behind, but there is no one. While looking at the girls, he thinks looks like girls aren't the only ones with love brains, but it could be that I could use this situation to my advantage. Meanwhile, his third mission starts to play the hand at the right time. The girls say, bye Aki, we are going this way. Then Aki also replies, see you tomorrow. While going toward her, she remembers that she forgot her homework in the classroom. and asks Yoshino, could you go get it for me? Then Yoshino asks her now. She replies, yes, now my key rings are inside the bag, hurry up. Then Yoshino runs toward the school to take her homework. Suddenly, grumbling sound comes from her stomach again, and she thinks I ate much just now. It's like this body's broken down. It's consuming fuel constantly. I'm not hungry because I'm troubled. Am I really in that much of a hurry to meet up with Makabe? Suddenly Tanabe comes there, and she says, you are the Prince of Stooges. This makes Tanabe angry, and he says, don't call me that. Then she says, I made such a fitting name for you, but you still look unsatisfied. After that, he pulls her hair and says, what do you say I should do? I am laughed at by everyone because of you, and also you tore my letter in half, but you didn't even lift a finger at Makabe. What a couple you are. After saying all that, he tries to cut her hair. But suddenly Makabe comes there and stops him from doing all this. While stopping him, his hand gets injured by the scissors. By this, Tanabe gets afraid and runs away. Then he asks her, are you hurt, Adagaki? She replies, it's you who got hurt. After that, he says your safety is more important. This is nothing, but from inside he is hurt and screaming. And he thinks it hurts so much that I want to cry, but now she's no longer an obstacle for me. Adagaki's dignity won't allow her secret to be exposed, nor will it let a male hero save her. Right. Up till now I always hated you the way you were, which is why I'm completely devoting myself to thinking of ways to make you fall for me. I would never like someone like you. I, who was once fat, can definitely do it. And the very moment she confesses her feelings towards me, I will reject her in the most spectacular way possible. I will call it the dead love of battle. Meanwhile, in his home when he is training, his mom comes there and says it's a love letter for Mako. Can I read it? Then he suddenly takes the letter and says, hold up, mom. After that, he opens the letter in which it's written Piggy. While looking at the letter, he thinks I was exposed in an instant. Who sent that letter to him? That was Aki Adagaki or someone else who know about his past. To find out, do like, subscribe, comment down to let us know if you want the second part, and share it with your friends. Thanks for watching.